everybody. Anyone who knows me knows I love dogs, possibly more than humans. Henry and Charlie are our dogs at home, and they give me and my kids such unconditional love, and we love them back. They're just like other members of our family. And it turns out that pups can actually help with learning as well, which I did not know. In fact, some very special therapy dogs are helping students learn to read in Tennessee. Here to help us more is Heather, a counselor at Northfield Elementary in Murfreesboro, and Cheryl, who trains the dogs and works with the students. We call them Best in Class. Well, welcome to the show. I'm so sorry when y'all walked out here in the break, I immediately went to the dogs. I was like, they're so beautiful. Okay. Oh, they just make you feel better. So this is Paris?
This is Paris and Stevie.
Stevie.
They're a mother-daughter pair of golden retrievers.
Oh, they're beautiful. Oh my gosh. So Heather, how dogs start coming to the school? I think this is brilliant, by the way, but how did that happen?
It's amazing. It is amazing. Well, 3 years ago, when we started at this school, it's a Title I school, so we have brilliant, amazing students, but we have a lot of students who may have learning disabilities or need extra support just to be successful.
Yeah.
And so then Cheryl and I met, and she came out to our school, and we saw the magic happen when kids would come out and read to the dogs, and it was just phenomenal. And the kids just loved it, the adults loved it, but we saw kids' confidence grow, and then their reading abilities grow. We saw an increase in attendance. And then this year, for the first time in our school's history, we were actually awarded reward status school. So we went from being on like the targeted academic list to reward school, and we have to think that Cheryl and Stevie and Paris were a big part of that, because when you've got this at school, you want to come to school and you want to read, you know, to the dogs.
And I mean, therapy via animals is such a, it's such a thing anyway, but I didn't even know with the reading thing, and it kind of makes sense because there's a buddy there, but that buddy's not judging them, and they're feeling more confident probably reading to the dogs, I imagine. You know, rather than their peers. I know like kids get terrified when you get called on class, you know, called in class to read aloud. Not everybody is that kind of confident.
Absolutely. And, you know, when you're reading privately to the dogs, they're not like snickering or like, you know, it's not like
That's not how you say that. Yeah, they're not,
Yes. And so like we see students, their confidence go up. When, you know, I go down to pick them up to read, you'll see like a kid who just loathed reading and really did not have that confidence, like grab a book, run to the door to come and read to the dogs. And so their confidence and their belief about themselves increases too. And that's been just such a magic part of the program. Plus
the best part,
having an adult, you know, in a team just to invest in the students and what they need.
How does it work? So how does it go down?
The dogs come in, and sometimes it's me pulling students who, you know, are working through anxiety or maybe, you know, some big emotions or trauma or things that they've been through. And they'll get to spend some time with the dogs and just be able to kind of decompress and work through things. And, you know, sometimes we'll even hear students, you know, share things that maybe there are ways we could help their family or help them overcome an obstacle to be successful. Because, you know, as a school counselor, that's what I want. I want all of the kids to be successful. And on the reading component, it really had a special part in my heart, a special place in my heart, because I have two sons, CJ and Tucker, and CJ, my oldest son, has dyslexia. You know, it's nice to know, like, oh, it's not that I'm not intelligent or I'm not brilliant, you know.
You see it differently.
Yes, and learning a different way. So any program like this is so important to me for our students with learning disabilities, just to build up their confidence and to be able to have a comfortable and safe place to be able to do that means everything.
And you're empowered to learn and not discouraged by it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And know that it's not, you know, a lack of intelligence. You know, there just may be some different avenues that you need to be able to take. And it's fun too for them to get to read books where they get to see themselves, you know, in different books and literature. And Cheryl's training, like, she's a rock star.
I know, I was gonna ask, so you say that Cheryl, you say that there's a reason why the dogs are so helpful, right?
Yes, UCLA and Mayo have done some fantastic studies about the effects of dogs on people, from lowering blood pressure and just making they seem to understand what we need, I think, more than sometimes humans do.
Oh, yeah.
So if a child is struggling, I can bring Paris into a room and she'll read that child immediately and go lay down next to him just to give them some comfort. And some of
That's
the
my Henry, man.
And some of the other things that I see that are remarkable, we have a little girl who won't talk in school unless she's reading a book out loud to Stevie.
We had never heard her voice until she got connected to the dogs.
That's incredible. As students, our next guests know just how beneficial these dogs are. Meet sisters Emery and Adelyna and their mama Melissa. Give it up for them, y'all. So at the beginning of this school year, Melissa, your daughters were dealing with different challenges. So tell us about them. What was going on?
So my youngest daughter, Adelyna, has her issues with reading. She struggles with reading, and her fluency wasn't quite where it needed to be. And in Tennessee, we have a third grade retention law. So if the students don't pass that state test, there is the possibility of being retained.
Yeah.
And as a mama, you get a little worried about that.
Yeah.
So Adelyna was struggling with her reading and her fluency, and now.
By the way, Adelyna, just so you know, a lot of kids in a lot of households, same thing's going on in my household. Like that happens in almost every household, I feel like.
It does.
Yeah.
I think so too. Emery, on the other hand, does not struggle with reading.
Smiling.
She's giggling, sorry. This is my perfectionist.
Yeah.
Everything has to be 100% all the time. Everything has to be right. Straight A's. If it's not, we get very upset.
Really?
So this is my absolute perfectionist.
Yeah.
So those are
That can kind of be a struggle too sometimes because, you know, life isn't about being perfect all the time. So there's its own challenges and hurdles.
Yes,
Yeah.
I say this.
She's like, no, it can be, actually. So, Adelyna, I'm going to start with you. So, like, what's it been like reading with the dogs? How do you think that's been helpful?
In the beginning of the school year, when my teacher asks if somebody wants to read aloud, all my friends would raise their hand, and I would never raise my hand, like, at any time.
Yeah.
But with the dogs, they don't stop you or pause you.
They let you go at your own pace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes they put their head on you.
Oh, my
You
God.
just
It's
lay
the
your head on
best.
you. Yeah.
Dogs are the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you feel like that it's helped you?
Yeah, I feel better when I have the dogs.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, lots of kids don't like reading aloud in class either, or doing math at a chalkboard. What? Anxiety party for this one. So what do you feel like your challenges were, and how do you think the dogs helped?
Well, I get lost in my thoughts, and it's too overwhelming, and I set the bar for myself too high.
Yeah.
And since it is so high, it's so hard for me to get to that it causes me so much stress. But then when I go to the dogs, I just take a sigh of relief knowing that they care. I mean, they get to be read books. I mean, woohoo!
Yeah.
And when I read a book, I can get away from the crazy in life, and I can be in another place at another time with different worries.
Yeah. And just so you know, too, sometimes in life, like, because if she's saying you like to, like, be perfect all the time, sometimes the times you mess up, like, in my life, the times I've messed up are the ones I actually learned more from. So it's actually cool sometimes to mess up and then realize, like, oh, life isn't all this one moment. It's just, like, a step in your whole journey. I'm just trying to help you out. I don't want you to be stressed out. I don't, she's like, I'm petting the dog. I'm petting the dog. To all of you, Emery, you too. So what do you want to say to Miss Cheryl and Miss Heather? How do you feel?
There really isn't enough thanks to go around just to express the level of gratitude I feel for you, your dogs, and your program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Scholastic believes in the power of reading to transform a child's life. To help the Therapy Reading Dogs program at Northfield Elementary continue their efforts, Scholastic is giving them $5,000 worth of books and also $5,000 to help out, just to help out with the program. Yeah.